Hey guys, welcome to the roof of our barn dominium. We have started sheathing the front side of the house, and as you can see, we're using the 5/8 zip sheathing. We spent about 8 hours yesterday and 3 hours this morning putting sheets up here. We're about 2/3 of the way done, so not bad. One thing you need to remember when you're building your own barn dominium is the time you spend on your project gets intermingled with your personal life and your career. Man, we really need to weed the garden. Jeez, I need to do dishes. I swear, it's always nice when I have to go to work, but rains when I'm home. The rest of today, I've lost my helper. My wife had some things she needed to do, and she's got to get ready for work tonight. But I can still make some progress on this roof. We have the sheets up here, but I don't have everything finished. And I want to go over some points that I think are important when you're going to use zip sheathing and put steel on top of it. Really make some progress. I've been using the scaffolding wagon along with the Mahindra, which is parked out back right now, to get these sheets up here, and then we just kind of slide them up, and I'll get a little video of that whole process so you can see how it works out. But the scaffolding has been another invaluable tool in helping us get the sheets up here. But I want to give you guys a close-up of how I'm waterproofing this. The important thing to remember with these nails, and if you're shooting them with a nail gun, is to not to overdrive them. I try to get the nails flush with the surface of the zip sheathing, but I don't want them sticking up either. So it's kind of a, you got to get it just right type of thing. If it sticks up at all, then as your metal expands and contracts and moves, you can eventually wear a hole through your steel as it rubs over the nail that's sticking up. And if you penetrate too far, obviously that's a spot that is prone to let water in. Now we're going to go over all the nail holes with liquid flashing from zip sheathing, and we're going to tape all of our seams. The other cool thing with these sheets is the gap is already set on the long side for you. It comes with a beveled edge, so you have a 1/8 inch gap built in. The short edge, I just use a roofing nail to get my gap, and that seems to work pretty well. So that's a nice feature with the zip sheathing. All right, we're going to go over this seam here with some tape. And what I like to do, actually what the directions say, is you want a 1-inch overlap. So I'm going to put this down first, and then this vertical seam I'll run another strip down over top. That way the water runs off and it's not catching underneath. So when you do projects like this, you just have to kind of think how the water is going to run. The big thing with this tape is getting it down nice and smooth with no wrinkles. I'm going to do a 1-inch overlap over here as well. Okay, tape is on. And we're going to take our roller, and since this is pressure sensitive, we're going to give it a nice roll to make sure it's adhered properly to the boards. And you can see the texture come through the tape when you know you got enough pressure on it. And it's got a good stick. That's it to the tape. I'm going to finish up these vertical or these horizontal lines, and we'll start with the verticals. You can see how we taped here. This is a vertical seam. I run the vertical over all of the horizontal seams. That way the water flows over top. All of the nail holes have liquid flashing on them. All the nails were driven flush. This is probably above and beyond what really needs to be done, but it makes me feel good. And it only cost $40 to do all the liquid flashing on the nails, and all of the cut ends are also sealed and liquid flashed. You can see all the way around the building. So we're talking $40 to do that, and a couple of hours of your time. But this half of the roof, we're going to call it complete. We're gonna take the weekend off, start on the other half. We started sheathing the backside today between rain showers, and I'm up to my third row, but I wanted to show you guys, I'm working by myself today, and what I do is I am clamping just a junk piece of sheathing here on my fascia so I can slide these boards in. I cut them to length. Since this is a 1 foot overhang, I have to cut them to length so that they come out on the 2 foot side, and then when I put my next one in, it'll run right where it's supposed to. You can see I'm staggering the seams. It's a lot of work by yourself, but this definitely makes it easier. So we're on our last row of sheathing here, and I am very happy about that. I wanted to show you guys how this came out here. Not a true test that things are square, but we're at 27 down here. We are halfway up. 27 there. And we are at the peak. $27 there. So again, that's what I mean by just taking your time early on and get things as close to perfect as you possibly can, because it's just going to make things easier at the end. And you can see how this last row worked out. 27 inches at the bottom and exactly 27 inches at the top. Makes things so much easier. You don't have to cut angles and, you know, jimmy things in. So we're gonna get this last sheet on. We're gonna get the seams taped, and we're gonna call this roof on the main structure of the house complete. And we will have to revisit this stuff when we do the porches. And I'm a little bit excited and nervous at the same time for that. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned some things. And now you know there's more to sheathing than what you think. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the video. A little bit of bonus content for you as a little reward. When I'm doing this build, I think of things in phases. Framing is a phase, roofing is a phase, sheathing, electrical, plumbing. And before I move from one phase to the next, I like to go back and review the blueprints to make sure I have all my T's crossed and I's dotted. In the case for this house build, I missed a couple of items, and I want to talk about those. The first thing is these MyTech hangers. These are RT7 hurricane straps, and what I'm doing is connecting these to the bottom cord of the truss and the inside 2x10 or 2x12 girder. Here's our hurricane strap connection. One thing to remember when you install these is to make sure you get this up high enough, because the drywall finishing will be right up against this. It's a little bit of a pain for your wall drywall to go over top of this. And if you don't get this up high enough, you're going to have an issue with your drywall on your ceiling. So just make sure that you get these up high enough. The second thing I want to talk about are these GRK RSS structural screws. You can put these in. These take the place of 1/2-inch lag bolts. And with that nice head on the top, we put these in the girders, the 2x10s and 2x12s, to suck them tight to the post. Since our post spacing and truss spacing is different, those girders have to carry some of the roof load. So our blueprints required these screws to be in those girders. And man, I was really impressed driving these things in. Even with all those 16-penny ring shank nails, these things suck those girders nice and tight to the posts. So after reviewing the blueprints, I think we have all of our T's crossed, I's dotted, and we're ready to move on to the next phase, which will be our timber frame porches. Hope you stick around for that. That'll be one of the next videos coming out here very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.